Do not trust your brain. And this is something na I don't know if first time nyo siyang maririnig, but I need you to eat the dissected frog. Napagpili lang kung ano yung importante or ano yung pinaka-importante at somehow pag-ignore sa iba kahit na okay lang naman sila. The key principle dito is that you cannot manage time if your brain is exhausted. Kasi tayo, most of the time, feeling natin, babalik tayo kanina sa law of diminishing returns. Feeling natin kapag mas marami tayong bibigay na time sa isang bagay, sa isang task, feeling natin mas productive tayo. Hindi mag-work lahat ng diniscuss ko sa 1, 2, 3, and 4 kung hindi nyo gagawin yung step 5, which is... Alam mo ba kung bakit minsan feeling natin sobrang pagod na natin pero wala naman tayong masyadong natatapos? Today, pag-uusapan natin ng time management, hindi yung boring na time management na sige, planner, or color coding lang. We will talk about tips from medical experts. Dahil wala pa akong pambayad ng mga experts to invite here in my podcast, I dug information from their research and we will try to make sense dun sa mga findings, etc. nila. And this will also combine yung personal experience na meron ako and yung mga principles na available na dyan online. So this is a question from Nicole. Shoutout sa'yo. And the question niya is, how do you manage time and juggle responsibilities? Because let's be real, your 20s is a decade na about talaga siya sa juggling your career, your school, family relationships, dreams, and of course, yung sarili mo. In this episode, we will talk about the 5-step approach from Dr. Valerie Jackson. So tara, let's navigate our 20s together. Let us start with this truth bomb. Do not trust your brain. And a lot of people sinasabi, okay, bakit? Bakit? Noong una ko itong sinabi sa isang friend ko, yung una niya tanong, bakit? Because our brain is not designed to really manage tasks. It is designed to generate ideas. That's why kapag sinasabi mo na mamaya ko na ito gagawin, tatandaan ko yan. Ang tendency natin is hindi natin siya matatandaan. Because our brain loves short-term pleasure, avoiding discomfort, and procrastination disguised as rest. One of the major people who really boosted my strategies when it comes to learning is Dr. Barbara Oakley from, I forgot kung ano yung affiliation niya. Nung third year ako, kumuha kasi ako ng parang course sa Coursera. Nung time na yun, libre yun from UP and meron siya isang course doon na learning how to learn. So I enrolled in that course, tapos doon ko natutunan yung lahat ng bagay na tinuturo ko rin whenever sa mga friends ko or here sa social media. Meron siyang libro, yung A Mind of Numbers. Diniscuss niya doon yung procrastination as a zombie mode. Okay, zombie mode. So, the zombie mode refers to the brain's automatic, habitual, and energy-efficient neural routines often triggered by procrastination. Anong meaning nun? Yung zombie mode kasi, ito yung parang naka-autopilot yung utak natin na paulit-ulit mong ginagawa yung isang bagay kahit hindi mo na pag-isipan na parang zombie. So, in our case, perhaps, pwede natin siyang sa example, scrolling through your feed, sa TikTok man yan, sa Instagram, or kung saang social media platform. Usually, lumalabas yung zombie mode kapag tayo ay nagpro-procrastinate. And imbes na gawin natin yung mas importante, kusa tayong pupunta sa kung ano yung nakasanayan na natin na gawin na mas comfortable sa brain natin. And I just want to assure you na hindi yon dahil tamad tayo. Kung hindi, ganito lang talaga gumagana yung utak natin to conserve our energy. So gumagamit siya ng mga nakasanayan na nating mga galaw or mga nakasanayan na natin ng mga tasks para hindi na mag-effort mag-isip. So rule number 1, do not trust your brain. Ngayon, ang question natin, ano naman yung kailangan nating i-trust? Instead of trusting your brain, I want you to trust systems. So let us jump into a system that we can follow. Ito yung framework na sinasabi ko kanina na diniscuss or isa sa mga publications ni Dr. Valerie Jackson. She is the president of the Radiological Society of North America and an expert in the field of breast imaging. And currently, siya yung director ng American Board of Radiology, a position that she has held ever since 2014. Let us start with step one, which is setting a realistic goal. Okay, hindi lahat ng goals ay productive. We need to acknowledge that. If your goal is tatapusin ko na to lahat today, that is a setup for frustration. And that is, most of us, ganun yung ginagawa natin. Okay, cramming na lang yan kapag one day before the deadline or something. But to start this discussion on setting a realistic goal, I want to go back to a classical framework, classical law, which is feeling ko familiar naman kayo, which is the law of diminishing returns. Wow, Economics 11, basta Econ, Basic Economics. So, ang law of diminishing returns is napopularize si David Ricardo from classical economics. Ang meaning lang nito is the more effort you put in after a certain point, the less result you get. Okay, sige. Gawin natin siya mas malinaw. One of my favorite illustrations ng law of diminishing returns ay yung sinabi sa akin ng aking friend na instructor sa College of Economics and Management sa UPLB, si Francis. Sabi niya sa akin, imagine mo merong isang photocopy machine. Kapag isa yung nagpo-photocopy doon, efficient. Tapos kapag siguro dalawa na kayo, meron ng taga-kuha ng paper, taga-stapler, etc. sa photocopy, mas magiging efficient siya. Pero isipin mo kapag kunwari 7 na kayo na nandun sa photocopy machine, there will be a certain point kung saan hindi na magiging efficient yung workload. Kasi ang dami nyo na doon, baka magkakaguluhan na kayo. Something like that. Okay. I want you to think of time as a resource. Kaya pumunta tayo sa economics. Kasi time is a resource, to be honest. We all have 24 hours, 7 days a week. And if we will compute that actually, every week, meron tayong 168 hours. And minsan kasi ang narinig lang natin talaga yung 24/7, di ba? Pero ang daming oras noon, 168 hours. So time is a resource. And in terms of economics, kaya meron economics kasi it's limited. Yung mga resources natin ay scarce. So, tignan natin yung time in the angle of the law of diminishing returns. Let us say, for example, nag-aaral ka for an exam. Hours 1 and 2, siguro fresh pa yung utak mo. Talagang you prepared for this review session. Mabilis pa rin yung recall mo. And at that point, there is a high return. Then, hour 3 and hour 4, tapos ka na ng 2 hours, tapos tuloy-tuloy ka lang. Medyo napapagod na yung utak mo. May natututunan ka pa, pero mas mabagal na siya compared dun sa hour 1 and hour 2. So, at this point, lower na yung returns. Hour 5 and hour 6 naman, kapag paulit-ulit mo nang binabasa, possibly, nalutang ka na, or mas marami ng mali kaysa tama kapag kunwari kumukuha ka ng practice test. So, dito na yung diminishing returns. Kahit dinadagdagan mo pa yung oras mo to study, hindi na proportional sa natututunan mo or hindi na same katulad ng hour 1 and 2. So, ayun yung law of diminishing returns in the case or in the aspect of time management. So, nag-aaral ka pa rin, yes, pero konti na yung returns or yung balik sa bawat dagdag na oras. So, instead of doing everything, we need to ask ourselves, ano lang ba talaga yung kaya kong gawin today? And dito papasok yung next natin na principle when it comes to setting a realistic goal, which is having the highlight of the day. You need to ask yourself every morning, if I only finish one thing today, ano yun? And this idea is actually aligned to essentialism, which is a principle popularized by Greg McKeown, one of my closest friends from LB. Shout out sa'yo, Gab. Binigyan niya ako ng book. Gift niya to sa akin ng birthday ko noong 2024. And sobrang malaman siya. Ang sabi niya actually dito, may note siya na parang, this book has taught me that not all things are worth pursuing and that there are things worth all our time, energy, and resources. So that is the principle of essentialism. Like, okay, at this point in time, ano lang ba yung kaya kong gawin? Kumbaga siya yung less but better. Ang essentialism is a principle na pagpili lang kung ano yung pinaka-importante at somehow pag-ignore sa iba kahit na okay lang naman sila. Hindi ito tamad, hindi ito multitasking, but mas nagiging intentional ka lang talaga sa pagpili ng gagawin for a specific day. Ang pinakatanong lang talaga in terms of essentialism is, ano ba talaga yung pinakamahalaga today? I actually am doing this. Meron ako dito daily to-dos. Ano yung priorities for today? It can be one thing, it can be two things, three things. Pag yung bagay na yon ay na-accomplish mo for that day, that will motivate you to really move forward. So dito papasok yung setting your priorities for a specific day. If you will look at my calendar, I will just flash some examples here in my screen. Meron ako dito parang isa-isa lang na ganap per day para okay, kapag ito ay aking na-accomplish, I feel productive for that specific day. Dito papasok yung next natin na step na according din kay Dr. Valerie Jackson, which is getting organized, not only sa stuff, but even sa time itself. So let us break it down. Let us start with organizing time. When I started teaching sa university and also every time na meron ako opportunity to teach other people, this is one thing that I really say to them, to know your core values. Ang meaning lang kasi ng core values is ano nga ba yung mga bagay na pinapahalagahan mo? Ano yung mga bagay na kapag dumating ito or merong something na concern doon sa bagay na yon, kaya kanyang paalisin sa kung nasaan ka nung time na yun. Let's say, for example, friends. This was a very evident noong college ako. Let's say, for example, kung nag-aaral ako for an exam next week, then one of my friends will contact me and say na, Arvin, I need someone na kasama sa ganitong ganap. Since my relationships with other people and with the people around me is very valuable sa akin, kaya kong umalis doon sa pag-aaral ko and pumunta sa friends ko, if that made sense. So, ayun yung core values. Ang mga questions lang naman dito is, ano nga ba yung mga non-negotiables ko? Is it my health? Is it my family? Is it my growth? Is it my career? All of those things, you need to ask yourself, ano nga ba yung mga binavalue mo highly? The next way on how you can organize things or tasks is through time blocking and time boxing. I do not actually know if you're familiar with time boxing kasi most of the time, ang pinaka talagang alam lang natin is time blocking. Ang pinaka-idea lang ng time blocking is that you assign specific hours for a specific task. For example, 9 o'clock to 11 a.m., magbabasa ako ng emails. Then, 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., I will have this meeting, something like that. So that is time blocking. On the other hand, ang time boxing naman, it is actually used in software development kung saan you give a task a specific amount of time kahit hindi pa siya tapos. So, let us say for example, mag-work lang ako on this area ng 45 minutes. Kaya siya naka-box lang doon. So, pagkatapos ng 45 minutes, ititigil mo na siya. So, ang time blocking is somehow schedule-based. Ang time boxing naman is more on constraint-based. So, nag-work naman silang dalawa. Mamaya meron akong madidiscuss about time boxing, ano ba yung principle psychologically na aligned doon sa time box. Later, ano natin yan. The next one is energy management. Karaniwan kasi natin naririnig talaga ang time management. Pero ang energy management, hindi natin karaniwang naririnig. It just means na kailangan mong tignan kung ano yung oras sa araw mo. Kung saan pinakamataas yung energy mo, tapos kung kailan pinakamababa. Bakit? Kasi yung high energy requiring na tasks, let us say for example, writing for a manuscript or reviewing for an exam. Yung mga bagay na yon, dun mo dapat sila ilagay sa kung saan pinakamataas yung energy mo. And this is actually personal. Hindi ko pwedeng i-dictate sa inyo na, okay, 1 o'clock PM to 3 PM, ayun yung pinakamataas mo energy. Kayo dapat yung mag-aano nun sa sarili nyo. Kaya dito papasok yung kailangan kilala nyo talaga yung sarili nyo when it comes to developing habits, etc. Yung energy management, it is a principle na hindi naman buong araw mataas talaga ang energy natin. And that is also being strategic na yung mga low energy requiring na tasks, let us say for example, pagtitiklop ng damit, pag-nail cutter, paghuhugas ng pinggan, yung mga bagay na yun, pwede mo siyang gawin sa mga low times mo or sa mga down times mo. Let us say for example, pagkatapos kumain ng lunch, usually mababa ang energy ng mga tao dyan kasi inaantok. So yung mga bagay na yun, pwede mo siyang gawin doon. On the other hand, kapag mataas yung energy mo kapag morning, so pwede mong gawin yung, okay, kailangan ko magsulat dito sa subject na to or kailangan ko mag-review. Doon mo siya gawin kung saan pinakamataas yung energy mo. Recap lang to sa organizing your time. Doon papasok yung ideas mo about core values. Doon papasok yung time blocking or time boxing and of course energy management. Ngayon, punta naman tayo sa organizing stuff. Organizing yung mga gagawin mo na. And this is something na I don't know if first time nyo siyang maririnig, but I need you to eat the dissected frog. Yes, kakainin nyo yung palaka na na-dissect na. Ang pinakasikat dito na idea is Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy. And inspired naman siya ng quote by Mark Twain. And you eat that frog, ang major idea nun, kung ano yung pinakamahirap na task, ayun yung una mong gagawin. But my version is eat that dissected frog. Kasi hindi ko naman sinasabing lulukin mo yung buong palaka agad-agad, di ba? You need to dissect it. Bakit natin kailangang i-dissect? It's because big tasks usually feel overwhelming. Tama? But small tasks feel doable. So let us say, for example, instead of finish thesis, yes, yung thesis mo siguro yung pinakamalaking task for today. And kapag sasabihin mo sa to-do list mo na finish thesis, ma-overwhelm ka na agad. Hindi ka pa nagsisimula, overwhelmed ka na agad. Unlike kapag, okay, write 1 paragraph sa chapter 1. So kapag nagawa mo yon, pwede ka makapag-check agad ng something sa iyong to-do list. Ngayon, a bulk of my job is on content creation. And when I film videos and when I edit videos, instead of putting sa aking to-do list na edit video on plant pathology, instead na ganon, hinahati ko siya na okay, highlight of the day ko yung editing ng video na yon. Pero sa aking to-do list, nakaano siya na okay, remove unnecessary segments, pwede yon. Add texts, add music, adjust the video quality, yung mga ganun na bagay. So, hinahati ko siya ng yung isang malaking task, like editing a specific video, hinahati ko siya into segments para at least kapag gumagawa ako within the day, may na-check ako doon sa to-do list ko. Bakit mahalaga yon? Because we are living in a world na we are wanting dopamine. Siya yung hormone na na-activate kapag nagkakaroon tayo ng reward. Kaya ngayon, mas okay na sa atin mga short form videos, di ba? Kasi as early as like, for example, 30 seconds, meron ng reward, okay, accomplish yung isa. So, kaya nandun tayo sa world na yun ngayon. And every time you check one off that to-do list by dissecting yung big tasks mo, mas na-activate yung dopamine. So, mas eagerly ka na mag-move forward. So, this works as a reward system. And dopamine keeps you going. Now, dito na papasok yung sinasabi ko kanina na sa time boxing, ano yung principle na bakit, okay, kahit hindi tapos yung task, basta natapos yung time na 45 minutes, let's say for example, effective pa rin siya. So, itong mga to, it can be effective to different types of people. So, hindi ko naman sinasabi na gawin nyo talaga silang lahat, di ba? So, we have the principle of the Zeigarnik effect. from a Soviet psychologist in 1927, ang principle ng Zeigarnik effect ay do not finish the tasks at first. Kasi mas matatandaan mo yung tasks kapag hindi mo siya natatapos. What does that mean? Ayun yung reason kung bakit, kunwari, tapos ka na sa office, dismissal na ng 5 p.m. Kahit na gabi na, iniisip mo pa rin kung ano yung mga kailangan mong tapusin sa work. It's because of the Zeigarnik effect. Kapag merong mga open loops, nasi-stress ka agad. 'Di ba? So, for example, hala, meron pala akong binabad na labahin. So, kailangan ko siyang tapusin later. So, mas natatandaan mo siya. Ang solution dito is that you need to write it down, you need to break it down, and decide the next tiny action. So, kapag kunwari, hindi mo natatapos yung isang task, mas matatandaan mo siya later in the day. It can help you actually in doing more. Kasi habang hindi mo siya natatapos, matatandaan mo siya mamaya. So, meron kang mga ilan na napaprioritize bago mo matapos yung bagay na yun. But of course, kailangan natin tingnan ito sa aspeto na, okay, hindi naman pwede lang, say for example, na namamalansya ka, di ba? Namamalansya ka, tapos kakalimutan mo na siya or hindi mo siya tatapusin. So, ayun yung mga bagay na kailangan yung pwedeng tignan. So, yung effect na yon naka-align siya sa time boxing. Okay, ano naman yung step 3? Ang sabi ito ni Dr. Valerie Jackson is delegate. Before doing any task, you need to ask yourself, why me? Does it require my skill? Can someone else do it better or faster? Delegation is a talent. Well, and delegation is not actually laziness. It's leadership and self-respect. Ngayon, paano natin siya gagawin sa aspect ng students? For example, meron kayong group activity. Dito papasok na not all of the task ay kailangan mapunta sa'yo. Kung meron kang mga groupmates na more versed when it comes to, for example, graphic design or editing, hindi lahat ay dapat mapunta sa'yo. You need to delegate. You need to give tasks to other people. In the case of business people naman, if you're a founder and you have a lot of tasks, you can delegate some of it by hiring other people, by hiring freelancers, yung mga ganun na bagay. So, whenever you have a lot of things on your plate, you can always delegate. Now, punta naman tayo sa step 4. And I think ito yung pinakamahirap gawin. Kasi, ang step 4 ni Dr. Valerie Jackson is to relax, recharge, and basically biohack your brain. Nung third year ako, kasabay noon pagkuha ko ng Learning How to Learn by Dr. Barbara Oakley, kumukuha rin ako ng another course sa course era noon, which is Biohacking the Brain's Health. And dito papasok yung diet, sleep, and exercise. The key principle dito is that you cannot manage time if your brain is exhausted. Kasi tayo, most of the time, feeling natin, babalik tayo kanina sa law of diminishing returns. Feeling natin kapag mas marami tayong bibigay na time sa isang bagay, sa isang task, feeling natin mas productive tayo. But the reality is na mas napapagod tayo. So dito papasok na kailangan nating mag-rest. Kasi ang time management, hindi lang siya puro dopamine. We also need to activate several hormones in our body like endorphins na nakuha natin kapag nag-exercise tayo. Adrenaline even. Those are some of the things na natitake advantage when we do these things. Diet, sleep, and exercise. This is a whole course doon sa kinuha ko. I feel like I can create other videos on this. For this video, I just want to remind you to have a time to relax and recharge. Na hindi pwedeng dire-diretso ka lang talaga na nagtatrabaho. So diet, it fuels our brain. Even the timing of caffeine, kung kailan kayo inom, yung mga ganun na bagay. I did a lot of mistakes nung undergrad ako dito, for sure. And even sleep, there were a lot of instances na na-realize ko nung undergrad na kapag wala akong tulog, nag-all-nighter ako, ang scores ko is around 60, 71, like super duper pasang awa lang. Contrary kapag kompleto yung tulog ko, na mas matataas yung nagiging scores ko. So, ang sleep is a non-negotiable. Take note of that. Rest and sleep, non-negotiable yung mga yan. And of course, exercise. Hindi ko naman sinasabi na mag-gym na talaga kayong lahat. Kasi feeling ko, a lot of people talaga parang iniisip na, okay, kapag ba exercise, kailangan yung full on na agad na gym. Even walking outside for 10 minutes, that can be considered as an exercise na rin. Keeping up with your steps, yung mga ganun na bagay. Because exercise improves your focus and your mood. Kasi alam nyo, rest is not a reward, it is a requirement in time management. And in your life, actually. And lastly, step 5, and I feel like it is the most important. Hindi mag-work lahat ng diniscuss ko sa 1, 2, 3, and 4 kung hindi nyo gagawin yung step 5, which is stop feeling guilty. I am not perfect. You are not perfect. We are not perfect. And we need to acknowledge that. That there will be times na hindi nyo laging magagawa lahat ng bagay na to. Let's say, for example, there are days na ako, sobrang eager ako na naglalagay sa aking daily planner. I have my daily planner here. Sobrang eager ako na naglalagay ng stuff sa aking daily planner. But there are also days na hindi ako nakakapaglagay. And hindi ko rin nasusunod. And according to Eta Pesano in 2001, one of the most important and one of the most difficult elements of time management is getting rid of the guilt. Ayun din yung sinabi ni Dr. Valerie Jackson na nothing good comes from an unreasonable sense of guilt. Worrying makes tasks take longer and unpleasant. As someone na gusto talaga na laging may sistema sa mga bagay-bagay, that I have my personal calendar, I have my daily planner, I have my mini goals na kailangan tapusin sa isang araw. I always remind myself to have grace. Hindi si Mary Grace. Wow. Joker. But to have grace sa sarili mo na it is okay to have rest without guilt. It is okay to work without self-hate. And we need to value progress more over perfection. So time management is not about doing more. It is about doing what matters at the right moment, at the right time, with a healthy mind. So as a recap, una, I encourage you to not trust your brain kasi ang tendency ng brain natin is to procrastinate and to go to the zombie mode. I think that will be another video. Magandang pag-usapan ng zombie mode and procrastination. Next, sabi natin, instead of trusting our brain, we need to trust systems. So, I laid out 5-step approach kung saan pwede natin gawin in order to manage our time. First is we need to set a realistic goal. Doon papasok si law of diminishing returns, and at the same time just having a highlight of the day which upholds the principle of essentialism. So choosing what matters most in that specific day. Step 2 is getting organized. So organizing your time and organizing your stuff. So organizing your time, doon papasok si knowing your core values. Time scheduling through time blocking and time boxing. And of course, energy management. So organizing stuff naman, dito papasok yung having your to-do list and eating the dissected frog. So dun din natin na-discuss yung Zeigarnik effect, which is not finishing a task at first kasi mas maaalala mo siya. So that can work in some instances in time management. Step 3 is to delegate, always asking yourself, why me? Sa step 4 is one of the hardest pills to swallow para sa atin, to relax and to recharge, na ang rest hindi dapat siya reward, but it is a requirement when it comes to managing your tasks. And of course, yung step 5, hindi mag-work yung step 1, 2, 3, and 4 kapag hindi natin tinigilan ang pagiging guilty in this process of being better. Thank you for reaching the end of this video, for wanting to improve your life through this somehow a conversation na meron tayo. And if you are not hearing this often, I just want to remind that I love you and we can do adulting together. And since you're someone who wants to improve the quality of your life through listening to mga podcasts like this, I think you will like this video. Again, thank you very much for listening, and tara, let's navigate our 20s together. I will be in that next episode the moment you hit play.